Hello everybody, we're going to do a very brief Friday market wrap up, just kind of looking at where the market's at right now and to just be prepared for this upcoming week. Like I said, the very first week of October, huge week according to my macro analysis. So we are getting to that point, okay? And as a lot of you already know, my idea is that we will have some kind of a swing failure around that first week of October, kind of come down here and then get a move upwards, taking out this low. So that means that we sort of have time to kill before we actually get down here, and we can see that price is really taking its time, right? We're slowly coming down, and honestly, I really like this because this goes hand in hand with the idea that this is an accumulation phase. And if we have a low volume, right, if we maybe take a look at some of the volume here, if we have a lower volume downtrend, less market participants, right, and we take out the low slightly and then bounce, that's a spring. In accordance to accumulation schematic, that would fall under line of a spring, right? We would see that spring, a push up, back test, and then continuation upwards. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. We'll just zoom in a little bit here and just take a kind of a closer look at some BTC analysis. The range high volume node, this was the previous range val, is holding. We are seeing it hold. So I think, especially on a daily time frame, if we see price hold above this level again, I mean, if you look at what's happening here, these wicks down, let's zoom in just a little bit. These wicks down, longers, they get wrecked, they're wrecked, and they're wrecked again. The market is discouraging people from longing. People who are trying to catch along here and get a big push up here, they're consistently getting wrecked. People using higher leverage, right? We do not have market structure change. We had this move down, and since then, this trend line has been acting as resistance, and we've just been, getting a continuous move down. I personally don't expect too much to happen over the weekend. Typically, price will consolidate, so maybe we see just a little bit consolidation here, where price really does tighten, right? And it has to ultimately make a choice, and that is, are we going to lose this range high volume node, or break up above this trend line and rotate to the top, with this range point of control as well as the top of this trend line here. All right. And we do have like a market inconsistency here between this area, right? So typically when price has something like this, it does want to fill it. This would be the fair value gap. So price will want to fill this at some point. It doesn't have to happen next week. It doesn't have to happen the week after that, but at some point price will come up here to fill this. So it's something worth keeping in mind. I think it would be really cool, if leading up to that week that we did see, some kind of a breakout. I think this one was really nice breaking out of here, but I think a lot of people have this trend line up here too. It would be really nice, I think, to see some kind of a breakout here before eventually coming down. But I think that might be overzealous. That might be overestimating because we're not seeing a lot of strength here in the market. So, yeah, like I said, if price can continue to hold this high volume node on a daily time frame, just as it did over here, I don't see any reason why. Like I said, we have to come to a resolution here. Is this stronger or is this stronger, right? And as that resolves, if we continue to hold this, then of course we'll see this move up, and I'll look to this upper trend line, this range point of control area for some degree of a short opportunity. We can kind of do something like this. In the event we were to break out of there, I think that, this naked point of control and this untapped daily is a very great place for resistance. I do not foresee price breaking out of here just yet. I would expect if we did break outside of this to be met with some pretty good resistance here. But in the event that it does, I would say that this would be my next level to the upside. On the downside here, like I said, I don't think we're going to take this out until sometime in the first week of October. So with that said, ultimately we have some time to kill. So if we do get the move down here, I would look for some support, possibly some degree of a long opportunity in this area. We have an untapped daily, a naked point of control. Our key channel is here as well, and then it's also the range value area low for this local range that we've put in here. Okay, so maybe we, continue to consolidate down, get some degree of a bounce here, come up here, and then go ahead and continue down for our move, you know, in October, where we're looking to swing failure this. Okay. So those are some things I'm keeping an eye on. Like I said, this level to the downside, this level to the upside, my two immediate spots. Again, we're just anticipating that move coming up here, you know, that in that first week. We'll take a look at ETH BTC, or no, we'll take a look at ETH USDT. I had my eye on this weekly level for quite some time, and I did take a long scalp on it this morning, which worked out great. And then we revisited those lows again for another scalp opportunity for another move up. I've said this many times, you know, this 1300 area is a really key level for me, and funding rates are negative on ETH. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some degree of a move up. Again, I think that is going to, I think that these are going to work hand in hand with BTC, right? So if you know, if BTC does get that move down to that 18.7K mark, you know, then maybe we will visit this daily level a lot sooner than I personally expected us to. So keep in mind that this is a really important level. And then two, you know, if we draw out our fibs, we can see that the 618 is just right below that untapped daily. So this really is a nice area of support, whether it falls on this pitch fan here or this pitch fan here. You know, if we just go ahead and hide this one, it could fall, you know, somewhere ultimately in this region. If it were to happen sooner than expected, you know, it could act as a great area of support. So that would be a level I'd look at to the downside. And then to the upside, you know, at this point now, we did lose this daily here. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and hide that, and we can draw out another daily here at this level, which could act as resistance along with, you know, this trend line, sort of this zone here. But some really key areas, I've really been interested in this area up here, and it's really too bad that we didn't get the strength to get up there. But now that we've taken out the low here, right, we've swing failure this low. We are holding the weekly as support. At least we have another hour and about 45 minutes to confirm that with a daily closure above this weekly. If we continue to hold this, you know, there's no reason we can't get a move up, but I do think that, you know, we'll have to see how we react to this zone here, right? I'm not going to get overly excited on a pump if we do start to come up. I'm more gearing towards shorts because I'm expecting some degree of a bottoming formation to be put in that first week of October with BTC. So, you know, ETH would follow along with that. So we'll just have to see. But in the meantime, you know, for short-term trades, yeah, if we hold here and continue to do so, we can probably get a move back up here and we can look to short maybe somewhere in this zone. Would be my very first spot. Again, you know, like these levels up here, like I said, I'm very interested in, but we haven't yet reached them. And then to, you know, the next bigger level to long, I would look at this spot down here. We can see that this, you know, just the market structure that we've put in here, along with this area, it's just a really key zone. You know, BTC is within single digit, double digit, low double digit percentages of its low right now, while ETH is still, we can actually draw it out here. It's still, if we were to go like this, it's still 65% above its low. Okay, so to some degree, you could say that the merge was priced in, and we are seeing something of a sell the news event. And I think that, you know, macroeconomic conditions do have a lot to do with that as well. But ETH does have new fundamentals now that do make it, you know, more appetizing, right, as an investment or a store of value. Okay. Let's look at ETH BTC. So at the same time as we tapped this weekly here, we are also tapping this weekly here. We took out the lows on ETH BTC as well on this end here. So if we do continue to hold, again, we may see some degree of a bounce. Okay. So that is something to be aware of. I think this range value area high would be our first area of resistance. Okay. If we were to continue downwards, I think that this range point of control as well as this VWAP would be a really important zone for us to look for some degree of a reversal if price does not hold it this weekly. But for now, I think with the daily close coming up here and typically ranging over the weekend, I think it's safe to say that this level will hold for the time being, and we'll have to see what Monday brings. We'll take a look at DXY. I think what's happened with crypto and DXY today has been really, really interesting. We wound up holding this 382, right, getting this thrust candle upwards, and now we're sort of putting in this consolidation period here. If we go down to a 4-hour time frame, we can see that that's actually been going on for some time, and it did attempt a breakout, which it failed and rejected down from. We have seen, so if we just simply go like this, and we'll take let's put BTC over here. So if we're down on a 4-hour time frame here on both of these assets, we can see that with this thrust candle here, we got that really, really big dump on BTC, right? And while it's been consolidating sideways, BTC has been slowly falling, right? Maybe in anticipation of a bigger move, where when it does get that move up here, that maybe it doesn't, it doesn't affect BTC so strongly. But we still are seeing that inverse relationship. However, over time, that inverse relationship is slowly diminishing, and how strong it does affect it. Okay. So we'll just have to, keep an eye on this. Again, just going back to our single chart here, my overall analysis, I am still looking at, doing some degree of a move upwards. I was maybe looking at a move down here or here, and it looks like that we held the 382. So with this said, I am looking for, after this level here, if price can break through, I am looking for a move up to this point, which will give us our swing failure on Bitcoin sort of around that first week of October is kind of what I'm looking at here. So I do anticipate this asset going higher at some point. That's not to say that it couldn't go down. Give us sort of a scalp long on BTC, and then, have some continuation upwards then, right? So that's something to keep an eye on there. We'll take a look at ES1, and we will wrap up here. ES1, yeah, really just hovering right above that channel, right? And we, I think that this chart is just really, really interesting, and it's been really fun to follow it. We had this harmonic here, consolidation, a perfect move down to the 1-to-1 extension of the harmonic here, and then we had some movement up. And if you guys remember, we had this daily here. We said if we held this daily, maybe we can break out of the channel, and we did just that. And we had talked about this this weekly level being very, very key, right? Being support here, loss, flip to resistance. And we wound up having a deviation above where we rejected off of this daily, right? This daily level here we rejected right off of, which we talked about in the Discord. And, I've since then been getting a move down. We rejected from here and here and here. And it's pretty clear that price is sort of holding the top of this channel successfully. But again, and it's slightly being front ran here, but again, like 1, 2, 3, if we reject, maybe come up here and find some rejection, who's to say that it'll hold that fourth time? Typically when something like that is tested time and time again, the third time you can take a trade off. Maybe the fourth time is where you may expect it to break. Okay. And if it were to break, my final target for ES1 in this whole downtrend was about 3,400. With all the talks of the soft landing and everything like that, I was thinking 3,400 would be a really, really cool level to see this sort of put in a bottom. So, at some point I would expect it to break into this channel, find confirmation in it, and then get sort of that move down to that 3,400 area that we've talked about for so long. But in the meantime, it is holding, right? And we'll just have to see sort of how we react to it on Monday. But yeah, we do have a daily level here as well. Looks like we front ran that, so we could see a little bit of support here. And like I said, maybe we'll get some degree of a bounce if DXY does get a small rejection to give us some degree of maybe like a scalp long on BTC, maybe up to this range here that we had talked about. But until then, I would. Everything is basically at support right now. So I am expecting maybe more consolidation or a small move up, but ultimately we are expecting lower in the next few weeks here.